Hello, everyone, and welcome to our presentation on using AI to grow your network. My name is Cliff Guerin. I will be presenting alone today. Christy and McCall will not be here with us, but they're here with us in spirit. But I will be here to run our presentation today. So a couple of housekeeping areas to think about. If you need to leave the room for whatever, getting a drink of water, taking a bio break, if you're at work and you need, you're called out by your boss or colleague, again, don't worry about missing any material because this is being recorded. And within at least 48 hours, maybe sooner, you'll get a copy of the recording in your WGU email. We are using the chat feature for our Q&A. So not the Q&A feature, but the chat. So if you have any questions that come up, you can throw it in the chat and I'll do my best to answer those questions. If our time runs out, but you still need to contact us, you can email us at careers@wgu.edu. So today's agenda, we're going to look at the value of networking. We're going to talk about the WGU's career milestones. One of those milestones is all about networking and making professional connections. We will obviously talk about AI and the different chat features that are there. And then we have some examples and demos that you can use and play around with on your own time for that. And then if there is time, hopefully there is, we will do a Q&A for any burning questions you may have based on our material. So as a quick commercial, please check out our other workshops. We have some, especially now we're getting into Cyber Week. So if you're in the School of Technology and you are getting your degree in cybersecurity, for example, we have a lot of programming around that. So just go to our homepage. You'll be able to find that in the events. It's also advertised through Handshake. And so you'll be able to find that and register for those events. So you may have heard of the career milestones. There are 7 milestones, starting with how to build and identify your SMART goal, all the way through career development and planning, experiential learning, which is internships, professional brand assets, which would be building a portfolio or your resume, all the way through career wellness assessed. That's kind of a checkup on your how's your current job going. So a career wellness check. So our material and kind of focus will be on career milestone number 4. That's at the bottom of the wheel there. And that will be the learning and professional connections expanded. So what exactly is networking? Let me ask you all a question, and feel free to put this in the chat. This is kind of our live interactive time. When you think about networking or hear about you should be networking, what is one word that comes to mind? Throw that answer in the chat and let us see what you think of. Rapport. Okay, good. People. Yep. Anything else? Connections. All right. Developing relationships. Yep. All right, good. Sometimes people will put fear, despise, things like that, but y'all are doing great. Knowing people, reaching out to new people in your industry, mentorship. So all good, positive things. That's exactly right. So some other examples of, when we're defining networking, building those relationships, having that foundation of support for your career goals, those are all exactly right. So you all are doing wonderful with that. Example of networking in action can be asking people you know about how they found an internship, how they got into their job. What we call informational interviews could be about networking. Messaging WGU alum. We have a new feature that the university has called Ask a Grad, if you have ever heard of that. So Ask a Grad is part of that, where you can pose a question to a graduate and get an answer. It's been pretty successful, so it's a good feature to use. That is also found on our website for building connections and networking. LinkedIn is excellent as well. So using LinkedIn to build your network. The LinkedIn alumni tool is one, and we'll talk about that, and I'll show you how to find that as well. It's a great way to begin to build your network. Identifying your career goals in milestone number one can also help you when you're building those relationships and those messages. Knowing what you want to do can help you identify other people that have the same goal, perhaps, and then that can begin your conversation. It can be a conversation starter. Ways to kind of build that connection could be finding a mutual interest or hobby. Could be games, fitness, a book club, stuff like that. Christy, that I mentioned, who actually has moved on to a different team here at the university, she built a networking connection at a yoga class. So she was able to, connect with somebody, and they were able to follow up with building a network connection after that yoga class. So it could be anywhere. It could be church. It could be at the grocery store. Anything like that can help you to build those networks. Carrying on with LinkedIn, when you see somebody's post and it's something that interests you and you respond to that, that's a good way to start building those connections as well. Sometimes folks will take courses on how to do public speaking. They may do something at church as far as reading during the service, getting to know people at different events. All of these are great ways to start to build your network. So why does it matter today, especially with a lot of us being on virtual platforms, even after the pandemic? We're still kind of feeling some ruffles, if you will, from isolation, if you will. But when we're looking at how network still matters, we're finding that 60% of hiring managers consider that a candidate's network connections can make the hiring decisions with versus not meeting them or knowing who their connections are. So it's what I call the great American know who. The more they see you're active online, say through LinkedIn or other platforms like Handshake is also a networking platform, not just a job board, that can help a great deal. 50 to 70% of jobs are what we call the hidden job market. That means that they're not really publicly posted yet. So when you hear through hearsay or through that great American know who, that's a great way to begin to network and find jobs that aren't even posted yet. When I started my job in higher education in career services, that's exactly how I found my job at my first university I worked at. Was somebody who said, hey, we're going to be hiring for a career advisor. It's not posted yet, but I think you might be a good candidate. Why don't you send me your resume? So that got the ball rolling. And again, up to 70% of those jobs are found or at least heard of through that hidden job market. With building your network and being more visible in public, you can get up to 9 times more hiring opportunities through a referral versus not being visible at all. So try to break out of maybe that hesitation or that fear of, well, I don't want to do anything with social network. I don't want to do anything that I could get scammed on. If you're playing your cards correctly and doing everything on a professional level, especially with LinkedIn, and just being smart, being cautious, you're mitigating or lessening that opportunity for anything that can happen. If you find something, even on Handshake, that looks kind of shaky or shady, let us know, and we can do some research to find out if something happened and somebody snuck in without our knowing. Let us know. We'll be glad to help you out if there's a question of any kind of jobs or connections on Handshake, for example. And again, right now we're not doing too great, I don't think, in when you're looking at the jobs because of the shutdown. That's unfortunately just the reality we're in. That doesn't mean you should stop job searching or trying to make a difference, but that's what we call a cold job market. And so networking can increase your way to be more visible and stand out during a cold job market. So Handshake is not only for WGU alumni, it's for all WGU students. And it never goes away. So when you graduate, or if you have already graduated, you will still have access to Handshake. So that's a good question. So what are some resources that can help you with your networking efforts? The first is, if you haven't already done this, or if you've been out of the networking activity for a while, start laying that foundation. Complete the networking tool kit that we have, and that will help you a great deal. Let me put that in the chat. This will take you to a Word document of the network toolkit that we have to help you with that. It's going to help you identify your current connections. You'll learn more about best practices, and then it will help you prep your what you call the elevator speed, your elevator pitch, or what I also call your 30-second commercial. The second way is to expand your network. So don't let it go cold, but really be able to do some expansion of your network and finding new people to connect with. So using the networking activities handbook will help. That handout is going to be really good. You'll find that also on the same page where you find the toolkit. And this will give you access to build and expand your network, building out LinkedIn, again, Handshake, any WGU Connect, which is another tool that the university has, and then the Ask a Grad, which we talked about a moment ago. You always want to follow up, and you always want to stay active in your connections. Learn best practices for staying in touch. Regularly engage, for example, in LinkedIn and Handshake. If you see something that you want to have a follow-up on LinkedIn, or you make a connection on LinkedIn, always respond in a professional way. LinkedIn is not like Facebook. It's not a place to just post, birthday greetings or things like that. You can, but keep it professional. Try to find some kind of connection to your industry or your careers that will make a difference. So start connecting today. Look where we are. We're here together, right? We've got 24 people. Why don't you put your LinkedIn URL in the chat? Share the love. This is a great way to start connecting with the people you have here. Even put what is your degree in, so that if some of these others that are here with us today are studying the same thing, then you're beginning to build that connection with your LinkedIn URL, and also sharing out what degree program you're in. Excellent. Thanks, Wyatt and Vanessa. Good. So as we jump into AI and how AI can help with networking efforts, let's just do a quick refresher of defining what artificial intelligence is. It is the simulation of human intelligence. So it's built on these deep machine language models that enable these models to learn, they can reason to some extent, but not in a moral way. There's no ethics or morality that they work with. But as they learn and are taught more and more as they grow, they can make those decisions. They can help solve problems, and they can communicate in the same way that humans do back and forth. It's revolutionizing the job search process. We use this every day with students. We help students all the time to be able to use AI in resume development. And as you may know, we are rolling out JobScan today. So everybody will have access to a premier level of membership with JobScan, and that has the AI background to help you with your resume. Cover letters, and also LinkedIn profile. All could be done with JobScan. So our focus will be on kind of the chatbots. We'll be working with the chatbots to help you with understanding the use of AI in developing your networking tools and resources. So let's explore some of that. How can AI help you do that? The first thing is it can help you save time. So if you're not a writer, or you get stuck and get a writer's cramp, so to speak, and draw a blank, AI can help you draft those professional network messages in seconds. It's fantastic, and it can give you examples and even give you further material to work on as you're developing your introductions or your 30-second commercial. It can personalize your outreach, so the more you put in your request or that prompt for AI, the better it could work for you. And it can create or even edit messages based on your goals and background. So the more detailed you are with your prompt, the better the answer will become. And the more you practice, the more you can build that confidence, because networking sometimes can kind of prompt, if you will, folks to say, I'm kind of an introvert. I'm not really sure or feel confident, but AI can help you in that practice for that elevator pitch and that prep for conversations to help kind of ease and calm your nerves. Everybody's doing great. Thanks for those LinkedIn connections you're giving. Now, some important considerations as you're using the chatbots. One is you do want to personalize everything as much as possible. So that is really just asking the question, giving your background. My name's Cliff. I'm getting my degree, my Master's of Science in Information Technology Management. I need to build more networking connections. Please give me 5 top tips on reaching out to this industry. I mean, I'm making this up, but it's write it out and give it a natural, normal question you would ask anybody, and then put that in the chatbot and see what the response will be. Now, you do want to watch for inaccuracies, because again, as much as we say this is like human conversations, it's still a computer. It's still, learning and being taught, working with a great deal of data, but there can be inaccuracies there. You want to stay critical of those outputs. There could be biases, and you want to be considerate of privacy. So you don't want to put personal information like, your address or email or phone number or anything like that. So keep the privacy part somewhat general, but keep the details of your objective a little bit more detailed, so you can get those better outcomes and outputs that are there. It's also what I call high tech and high touch. So you do want to be aware that you are working with technology, but giving it that personalized touch about your objective gives it more, more information to give you a better output. Now, here are some really good ways of networking activity, and then how AI can help you with a specific activity. For example, contact existing connections. So if you know people already, right? You already know people, it may already have a network built up. AI can help you to create a warm, personable, but professional outreach message. This could be used for other colleagues you know or work with, peers you interact with, mentors you've worked with in the past. Now, if you're trying to message new contacts, then that AI platform can help you write out outreach messages. So you can target companies, you can include requests for career conversations. That's what we call informational interviews. We have that on our networking page of our website on how to create and give examples of informational interviews. And then how to start and have those career conversations. These are, can be casual and learning about someone else's job. What was your career path like? How did you overcome obstacles? The AI can help you generate those kind of more thoughtful, open-ended questions for those career conversations. And then that's always going to result in more meaningful discussions. If you're not sure, again, we talked about the elevator pitch in that 30-second commercial. So AI can help you build, and this could be a prompt. Write a concise, polished 30-second elevator pitch that highlights my goals in cybersecurity with no experience. I mean, if you want to add that, and then it'll give you that kind of experience, that kind of information. Ask for a referral, create a polite language to request a referral from an existing network connection. Now you see that we're using, personable language. Be concise, be polite, be warm, be kind, because that's giving that AI output more personality for you to use. Follow up or say thank you. Write a warm, professional thank you message, and then give it details on why you're saying thank you. What's the context of that? So that's also important. Give it context of your request. Now, before I jump into this, let me ask you all to put in another answer in the chat. What AI tool have you been using? And if you haven't, say that too. Never used it. First time. Just now learning about this. What's your level of knowledge of using AI or chat? Okay, Grammarly, Copilot, ChatGPT, Notebook LM. Excellent. I did some things just playing around with Notebook LM where I put in some details of creating a blog, and I said I want a blog with a duet of a male and female blogcast, and I gave it details, and it created this really cool kind of blog, a blog post, an audio blog that was really very cool. So just my experience. Gemini, Claude, Lumo, good. So great. So y'all are working with us, and those are some of the tools that we talked about. If we want to categorize these and put them in specific categories, like which ones are more conversational, then maybe use ChatGPT or Gemini. This could be used for brainstorming. It could be used for drafting a message, for practicing conversations. If you want to use something for more research, like researching, where to find internships, what entry-level job titles should I use with no experience in software development or human resources. So Perplexity might be good for that. Researching people, companies, industry news, really great way to get that knowledge. Now, for writing assistants, and some of you are using this already, like Kara, Grammarly and Copilot. Copilot, as you know, is embedded in Microsoft 365, which all of you have access to. So you should always have Microsoft 365 at your disposal, and Copilot is part of that. That's what I mainly use when I'm drafting materials. It's also good for editing your message for clarity, tone, grammar. Good job, everyone. So Wyatt says Gemini's deep research is it's pretty good for researching for what he's experienced. So yeah, I mean, test them out, use them for different purposes, and you'll find all kinds, and they're growing, remember? So they're being taught and they're growing every day. So they're becoming more and more knowledgeable and useful, not in a scary way, but in a helpful way. So when we're looking at the art of the prompt, here are some really good things to consider for prompt engineering. Give it a personality, give it a persona. So you can say, act like a recruiter in the technology field and give me 5 top networking tips to use, something like that. So when you give it that persona, act like a fill in the blank, then you're going to get a little bit more of a personalized feedback for that. Input content is also important. This is the information that you're giving it. You're providing this instruction to the AI platform so it could process and analyze to generate the appropriate response for you. And then the output format can be important. This is specific, as it's regarding how you want the response to be. So you say, give me 5 bullet points on blah, blah, blah. So then it's going to give you 5 bullet points. Or like we saw before, give me a warm, welcoming response to asking about career networking. So the warm, welcoming description is how you want that output format to be generated. The tone is always good as well. And this can range from formal to casual, professional to easygoing. For example, I'd probably say, give a formal response or formal output of, giving it that instruction of formal is the tone you want that to be in. And then iterations are those refinements. If you get an output and you want it to be more concise or more detailed in focusing on a particular part of the output, then you're asking it to go into, this iteration. I know that Copilot does that. It'll give you questions. Would you like me to put this into a more formal tone? Would you like me to put this into a step-by-step action plan? So it's even giving you examples of iterations. So Armin says that he gave Claude the person of a inter-recruiter. So when asked about an application, he got accepted in HubSpot by WGU. That's great. Yeah. That's what you want. You want to use these to make that connection, and then the result to be, get a response, a call to action, like an internship invitation. So here is a good formula to use as well that we call AIM. So that is going to be asking for clarity, be specific, tell the AI exactly what you need, draft a message, follow up with a contact, prepare questions for a conversation. That's an example of asking for clarity. Include the context. Give key details about yourself and your goals. Again, keep the privacy element intact, but talk about, your background, your skill sets, your career goals, your degree. And then how to make it personable. Ask the AI to refine its draft to match your style, your personality. Make it sound more professional or friendly or casual. That iteration, rephrase parts to match your style, who you are as a person. So here is an AI prompt example. Draft a LinkedIn connection request to a WGU alum working as a software engineer. I'm a WGU software engineer student transitioning from customer service and looking to land my first developer role. Refine the message to be 300 characters or less, make it engaging and likely to get a reply. Pretty detailed. I'd even probably go into more information. It's going to probably find, with all that data behind its training, it'll define what WGU is. But if you want to write it out, that might even make it better. Request to a Western Governors University alum as a software engineer. I would probably go into more detail to say, land my first developer role. What specifically would that be? And again, the more detailed in that way, the better the response will be. So go back to this. Sorry about that. All right. So here is an example of using the AIM formula. Edit this text message to reconnect with a former mentor from my nursing internship. I'm a nursing student and would like to catch up with them to get advice on entering pediatric care. And then you insert the text message you wrote. Now here's a little clue. I'm putting this in the chat. I'm putting 3 hash marks in the chat. So what you want to do, if you're giving this instruction, put the hash marks between the instruction and the message you wrote, because the hash marks is telling the AI platform, do not include my instructions in your answer. Just a little tip I learned about, so that it is not mixing your instructions to the message that you're also including. That's the same way with if you're having your resume reviewed by an AI like JobScan or something else. If you're giving it a prompt of instructions, put the 3 hash marks, then include your resume so the instructions are not included in the answer. And then you'll see these other examples of the AIM. Help me write a warm, professional LinkedIn message to ask for a referral. I had a great conversation last month with a WGU alum who works at Sephora in social media marketing. I just found a social media coordinator job there that I'm excited about. I want to thank them for our conversation and ask if they feel comfortable referring me or passing along my resume. That sounds detailed. It's like, really? It's going to like take that and making it into, yes, it will. Now, again, edit this message so the request is clear, but doesn't feel too pushy. Or another way of saying it, take this message and make it more concise. So if you feel that it's too detailed, or, you want to make it more concise, then let the AI give you an example of what that would be. And generate 10 questions. So the 10 questions, and you can even say, generate 10 questions in numerical order or bullet point, and then you're giving it how you want that output to come out to be. For informational interviews with a WGU alum working in healthcare administration, and then you're giving out that detail. And then if you need the iteration, say, can you adjust the questions to be more specific to healthcare management? So just some examples for you to see how that AIM how that AIM formula can work. And then some examples of your own that you can take and write out for yourself. So again, if you're not sure who to reach out to or contact, here are some ways that AI can help. Start with who you know. Start in your own backyard, people that you already know. Use platforms like LinkedIn and Handshake. Use the Ask a Grad. Use that WGU Connect. All of those are ways to begin to build and know who you can contact. Use AI as a starting point. Find those contacts at target companies. And this is something that's really actually on the cutting cusp, the cutting edge of career development. When you're doing a job search, don't just follow job titles. Don't chase job titles when you're doing a job search. Identify companies. That is an emerging trend today in job searching. Identify companies you want to work at and start there. If you're using Handshake for research and you're finding those companies in Handshake, are they listing hiring managers or even just the college recruiters? If their contact information is in that Handshake looking at companies, there you go. You're starting your network. Reach out to them. Tell them who you are and how you found them. Those recruiters can be, really very key in building your network and also getting to know what other maybe hidden job market internships are available, for example. So here's another example of a prompt. It's kind of long, but you can look at there. I'm targeting job title, roles at, put in the companies. Help me research and identify 2 to 3 key professionals at each company who either manage hiring or currently hold job title roles, fill in the blank. Prioritize individuals who are likely to respond and whose teams align well with my skills and career goals. Use the latest company data from LinkedIn, organizational charts, and official websites. Take a breath. I'm just taking a pause so you can catch up on that wording yourself. And remember, if you joined us late, this is being recorded, so you can go back to look at any of the parts that you missed, or you can go back and look at some of these and use these examples for yourself. You will get the recording within the next day or two. When that comes out, we make it into a YouTube link and we send that out to everybody who is registered. So I mentioned earlier that sometimes folks can be introverted or maybe a little nervous about reaching out. Here's how AI can help you kind of ease those nerves. Starting with a conversation. Suggest 3 friendly conversation starters based on the hiring manager's job title or recent projects. So you want to input that information. What the job title is, maybe what, if there is a project or just some details about the industry that you're looking for. Now, again, we're going to those iterations again, asking better questions. Reword my question to sound more curious and focused on learning, fill in the blank. And here's a great way to practice how to use AI to practice those conversations. I'd like to practice a virtual career conversation. Pretend you're a WGU data analytics alum. Okay, there's your persona. I just met, and start the conversation and then give it what you want to talk about. Handling nerves in the moment. What is one quick calming strategy I can use if I get nervous or go blank during a networking conversation? Excellent way to use those GPT platforms. Again, if you want to get more personalized and have personalized support and work one-on-one, that's why we're here. And you can always make an appointment with one of our advisors to do some practicing. Now, a quick reference guide. You can find this here. Career exploration, again, with those goals. Now, if I click on this, I'm going to put this in the chat so you can see this, just in case you can't get to them. when you get the recording. That's the career exploration, career goals. This link will help you out with career planning and specifically gap analysis. And as I mentioned earlier, here is a link that will talk more about a quick guide to target companies. And then here is information on being able to grow your network. You can grab those, you can put them in a document to go back to later. You can put them in your search bar to just come back to later on. That helps. Bookmark them. So what's next? What's the next thing you want to do? So respond in the chat, knowing what you know now and what we've talked about so far. What is one thing you can do in the next week or two to grow your network? There you go, John. Find a list of companies that fit your preferences. So at least take this as a reflection for later on. Think about what one thing you can do next to build your network and using AI for that purpose. Continue to grow your LinkedIn connections. That's right, Vanessa. And speaking of that, we talked about the LinkedIn alumni tool. Let me grab a link for that so you can learn more about it if you haven't already. This is a great way to also build your network that way. So Stephanie says to try to find out people from my school or industry with similar interest in LinkedIn. Yep, that's right. So that LinkedIn alumni tool will help you do that from WGU. That will be great. And when you go to the LinkedIn alumni tool, that's where you'll be able to put in to search for the alum. Let me see if I can give you an example. I've got to move things around here. So that's why it's taking a little bit time. All right. So let me pull this over. This is the alumni. This is the WGU LinkedIn page. So right in the middle, you'll see alumni. And you'll see that there are 338,685 WGU alumni on the WGU LinkedIn page. So what you want to do is you want to go to this search under that number and put in, let's put cybersecurity, just cybersecurity. And then it gives a response that now it went down to 41,000 alumni who are in cybersecurity, and there they are. And you can open up, let's look at Jonathan. You can open up his page, read his about section, see more. If that's intriguing to you and it's like, hey, I like that, and I want to connect with Jonathan, then go ahead and hit the connect button, send out a message, use AI to write a warm, inviting message to connect with LinkedIn. And that's how you use the alumni tool. All right. So let's see if that gives you the link. That'll give you the, pardon me. That'll give you the page to where you find the link, but let me give you the direct link here. I just got to go back to grab it and put it in there. That should take you there. All right. So here's our contact information as we're wrapping up our day today. You'll see that QR code. I asked you at the beginning, get your phones out. This is our survey. If you don't mind, go ahead and clicking that, or you can do it later. But if you could take that survey, we'd like to know how we're doing. We'd like to know if you have any recommendations on other topics. As I said at the beginning of the hour, we are advertising Cyber Week coming up. So lots of other events that we have on Handshake and also our homepage. But here are other ways that you can contact us and connect with us. And as I said earlier, if you have any questions or this sparked any additional thoughts you want to share before we end our time today, please put that in the chat. I'll be glad to answer any questions to the best of my ability. And if you need to hop off, I just want to take this time to thank you for joining today. I really appreciate your time to be with us. I'm going to go ahead and stop. Well, I'll keep sharing because I don't want you to lose this if you're still trying to get the QR code. But I will go ahead and stop the recording.